Hi everybody, Hassan Shariq, regulated Canadian immigration consultant, back with another video on Canadian immigration. So we surprisingly had a round of invitation for express entry today. We had one last week, and the usual trend is that it happens after every 2 weeks. But just after a week today, we had a draw. Although it usually takes place on the Wednesday, but the expectation was this will happen next week. But because in December 2022 we did not have draws because of the tech glitch that IRCC mentioned, so probably that's the reason that they had the draw. So let's go to the computer screen and have a look at the details for today's draw. So here we are on the official webpage of Express Entry round of invitations by the Government of Canada. Let's have a look at the details for today's draw. So this was draw number 238 since Express Entry started. Today is January 18, 2023. This was an all program draw, so no specific programs specified. The Federal Skilled Worker Program applicants, the CEC applicants, they were all invited. Number of invitations issued 5,500, so big number. Last week we saw that there was 5,500 people were invited, and that was the biggest number of ITAs in one single draw. So we have another one of those. And a lot of people were not really expecting a draw to happen this week. The trend has been 2 weeks, but we had a draw this week, and we had a draw which equals the number of invitations that we had last time around. Now the CRS this time around 450. So last week it was 507 and now it is 490. So a drop of about 17 CRS points, a very big drop. And the reason is that 5,500 people just after a week. So, not a lot of people would have entered the express entry pool. And because this is a big draw, so, people up there in the top scoring ranges, they've been picked. Now, tie-breaking rule, this is for this draw stands at November 24, 2022. So anybody who has a score of 490, they would only get an invitation if their profile was created on or before November 24, 2022. If you have a score of 491 or above, this does not impact you. Even if your profile was created 1 week ago, you would not get an invitation. Now, looking at the distribution of the pool, so IRCC shares it for the date that the round of invitation happens. So this would be just before when the round of invitations happen. And we see that about 600 people between the score of 601 to 1200, about 1900 people between the score of 501 to 600, and then about 3300 people within the score of 491 to 500. And that's where we've seen that the people from this range, and this range, and a few of them even from here as well would have got invited. The overall number of people in the pool stands at about 240, which is pretty much similar to where we saw it last week. So these are the details for the draw. Now let's have a look at what we can foresee after this. Okay, so now that you have seen the details for today's draw, my opinion on this, we can expect another draw in the next week, and for sure in 2 weeks from now. Starting Feb 2023, IRCC plans to conduct targeted draws, which will be occupation targeted. It could be targeted on certain years of experience or certain type of education. Because right now what happens is that when we have a draw, they invite everybody. So there are people in the pool who have professions which probably do not have all that much of demand, or which have difficulty having transferability skills, or there's a licensing process, and that's why they're not really able to contribute as much even once they land in and become part of the local workforce. So they are going to start doing draws which are going to target professions or occupations for sure. And that's where they'll be able to attract people for whom the local industry has a lot of demand. So my personal opinion is that they might do couple of draws before they start doing the targeted draws, and these are going to be big draws. Like we had a 5500 draw right now, and we had a 5500 draw before that. And this will mean that the cutoff score will drop quickly. So we saw that now it is 4,900, although there's a lot of competition from here onwards. So if we have another draw of say 5,500, most likely we will see the scores drop to 400, a little above 480, because right now there's about 11,000, 11 to 12,000 people between that range. So even if it's a 5,500, we can expect the scores to be say 483, 484, around that range. And then if we have another draw, a quick draw, that's where we can expect the score to hit 480 and maybe go slightly below that. Um, um, so this will mean that a lot of people who are in the pool with these high scores right now would get invitations, and after that we'll start seeing targeted draws where not everybody will be invited, and that will mean that the cutoff scores for people who get invited or occupations who get invited will be less than where we are seeing them right now. So it is a great opportunity for people. A lot of you who are, especially people who have tech professions, who have certain business professions like accounting, there's HR, even marketing, consulting, business strategy, software developers. A lot of these people, you have great opportunity because there's a high likelihood that your professions, if there are targeted draws, your profession will be there. So all those people whose current score is, I would say, around 450, 460, have a great opportunity if they are from one of these professions, that they need to create their express entry profile and they need to get into the pool, because in coming months, in next about, I'd say, 3 months, there is great scope for business professionals, tech professionals, to be invited on scores of 450s, 60s, for sure 70s. And after that, we might start seeing that more and more people start getting into the express entry pool, and the qualifying scores start going up. That's my take. We still have to see as to which professions get picked, but keep in mind that it can take a few months time for you to get into the pool. You have to do your IELTS or other language test, and have to get your ECS as well. So if you wait, maybe you'll get late. Right now is the time that you need to get these things done and get into the express entry pool. So with this, I'll end it here. If you are an aspirant of Canadian immigration, and say you're somebody who's a little above 30, or you just have a bachelor's degree, and previously you was calculating your score and it was say 440, 450, 460s, and you were not really moving forward with your process because you thought that you will never get an invite, get in touch with me. You can book a consultation session and I can sit down and we can have a look, because I think there is great potential for some high demand professions in next 3 to 4 months, to be invited under the express entry targeted draws policy that IRCC is coming up with. With this, I'll ask for leave. I pray that you stay well along with your families wherever in the world you are, and I'll soon be back with another video on Canadian immigration. Take care. Bye bye.